Hey, this message is about the power of perspective. I was reading something and it talked about how, you know, if a fish measured. It's no more, baby. Y'all ate all of it. Why don't you look in the fridge? Y'all can pick a different snack, though, okay? Sounds good. Um, But this message I was reading talked about how if a fish measured its success by its ability to climb a tree, it would go through life feeling like a failure. And because fish are not designed to climb trees. So it's a simple message, but it is sometimes we forget, or sometimes we never learn how to live life in our own lane, how to live life um, in our purpose and the calling that God has for us, because we spend a lot of time um, trying to appease people, trying to please people, and then trying to make people proud, you know what I mean, who we love or who expect certain things from us. Um, but the power of perspective is, if you measure your success by somebody else's standard, you may go a very long time feeling like you're not good enough. And that was a realization I had to come to for myself, because once upon a time I was working according to my elders to people who are so excited about this good job that you have, that was what I thought I was supposed to be doing, or what would make me happy. And in reality, I have a family, and what's more important to me is not having to work 5 years to be able to request time off, or to have this good hourly rate but not be a part of my children's education. Or no shade to anybody who is living life their way, but that's the importance, is that you live life your way. So you can't be a fish trying to climb a tree and think that you're going to feel good about that. So I had to recognize what was important to me, and it starts by setting that standard. And then you'll feel good about not doing what other people are doing. And there's a peace in that, to be able to live according to your standards, and sort of according to the desires of your own heart. So a lot of people will give you advice based on their experiences, and there is beauty in experience, but a lot of people's experiences are not reflective of a walk with God. So they may give you advice based on what they were able to do in their own power. And if you're walking with God, you're going to have a totally different walk and a totally different experience. So it doesn't matter what your credentials are at that point, or what your credit score looks like, or who's for you and who's against you. None of those things then play a part in, what God is able to do. So when I had Israel, my youngest child, I had carpal tunnel, which is like horrendous. It was horrible during pregnancy. I had carpal tunnel like my last trimester of pregnancy. I didn't really have any good sensation I couldn't really feel my hands, like a really tingly, very uncomfortable feeling, like in the arms and the hands. And it was really because so much of my nutrients and my blood supply were being pumped to him, that like my extremities were not really getting enough blood flow. So by the grace of God, once I had him, the carpal tunnel went away, but then I had tendonitis, which, like, I was like, sweet baby Jesus, like, what is happening? But I had, like, just a really, really bad pain. And it's funny, I have to remember what wrist it was now, but I had a really sharp pain that would go from my wrist, like this whole section of my wrist, to my thumb. And if I turned it certain ways, it was like horribly, horribly painful. And when I was going through it, and I met with like a hand doctor about it and blah, 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 and then they gave me this brace. So I was wearing this brace, and then a friend of mine asked me like, oh, like, what's up with the brace? Like, what's going on? And I explained to her, like, yeah, I have tendonitis because I had carpal tunnel, and then it just, now I have tendonitis, like, it's weird, and my hand is acting funny and blah, blah, blah. So when I was sharing this with her, someone else was like, oh, that never goes away. Like, you're always going to have that. Like, once you get it, you have it forever. And okay, like, when I tell you I have to remember what wrist it was, you know what I mean? Obviously it's gone. So I say that, and I give that example to say that people will tell you things based on their experience. Like, oh, once you have that, it'll never go away. You're going to be dealing with that for the rest of your life. Oh, or that's going to be impossible. You can't do that because when I tried it, it didn't happen. Or, oh, you got 5 kids like me. Oh, that must just be so hard and horrible. And that's just so tough and da da da. Everybody's walk looks different. Like I said, I was told when I was having this issue with my wrist that it would never go away because for them it didn't, or maybe for the people that they knew it didn't. But baby, the God I serve, okay, you better ask them. All right, surround yourself with people who are like you, and not like you in the sense of maybe your flaws or your setbacks, or so that you can continue to cycle through the same stuff, but who are like the person you are trying to become, and who see through the eyes of God, and who see impossible things as possible. Because if you are watering yourself with the words of people who feel like everything is impossible, then that is what will replay in your head when you're trying to make something happen. So I just want to share with you the power of perspective, because God can do anything, and the way that you view a situation a lot of times will determine whether or not he inserts his hand in it to make it different for you. So